Welcome to a guided declutter where I am going to show you exactly how I declutter my house and how you guys can too. I always say that my junk drawer is the barometer of how busy my life is, and so when it's crazy, I know things have been busy, but the great thing is all of these things can be remedied really quickly. One of my favorite things to do is pull everything out of that drawer and just go through and sort. So as I'm sorting, I'm getting rid of trash, I am getting like items together, and I'm also getting out any items that I don't want to live here and moving those back to where they really belong. One of the reasons that this drawer gets so bad is because it is where I use as a temporary home for lots of items. So if I'm trying to clear off my kitchen bench, I'll often put some items in there where I'm not really sure where they need to go, or if I'm going to be using them again, or perhaps I just don't have time to put them away in that moment. And so just knowing that I can go through this drawer, resort everything, trash stuff that I don't need to keep, and if you have some spaces like this, putting in some time like once a week or once a fortnight is a great way to stay on top of it and keep decluttering. Here is my trash, my pile of things that are going to live elsewhere, and also my pile of things that are leaving my house completely. So this is a little before and after for you. This whole job took me under 15 minutes and it makes a huge difference. Sometimes what can happen, guys, when we are decluttering is we only think about the things that are going to the donation bin. But let me tell you, if you are getting items to their correct home, if you are throwing items out, if you are returning items to a friend or family member, if you are donating things or taking them to someone else who needs them, they are all decluttering and you are doing an amazing job. One of the spaces that can feel really overwhelming are our garages, and that is just because one, we end up with a lot of miscellaneous items in there, and two, it's a really large space. So one thing that I like to do is just focus on one small area at a time. So exactly what is in this shot is all I'm focused on, and the first thing I like to do is just go through and have a quick look at what's there, start making a pile of stuff that is a no, I don't want it anymore. Whether it ends up in trash or donation doesn't actually matter at this point. It just helps to limit the amount of mental capacity you have to go through with each decision. I also strongly advise against picking any sort of storage solution for this exact reason, because as you can see, as you're emptying boxes, you can move things that you do want to keep into those empty boxes. One thing I like to remind myself and my clients is that decluttering will automatically, organically involve organizing. That as you start to clear spaces out, as you start to move those things that you no longer want in this space, the organization will happen all on its own. You don't need to worry about that. But if you're trying to do it the other way, if you're trying to organize before you declutter, that's when you can sometimes run into trouble. This is your friendly reminder that if you are constantly decluttering and reorganizing those high functioning spaces, it does not mean you are doing anything wrong. It just means that a lot of people are using this space. So just like mowing your lawn or taking out your trash, you're not doing it wrong. It just takes some maintenance. space I affectionately call the drop zone because my kids come in and drop all of their stuff here, and so it ends up looking a little crazy from time to time. And so by going through and just resetting it, it just helps to limit the amount of stuff that I bring inside the home that I may or may not want to keep. And one of the areas that I highly recommend tipping everything out and having a look so you can make really good decisions is shoes. This allows you to make sure you've got all of the pairs, and if you are a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it also allows you to visualize, hey, this is how many light colored shoes I have, this is how many dark colored shoes I have. And then you can separate them by those shoes that you're wearing all the time and those that you wear less often, so that those things that you need are at your fingertips, and the things that you don't use as often you can put away. This is what I like to call an organizational bomb, where you get halfway through a job and things look worse than when you started. And if you have this problem, one of the quickest and easiest ways to remedy it is to get rid of that trash and also bag up anything that is leaving your house. Doesn't matter if it's going different places, it just helps you to visualize what's left. So as you can see, my before and after on this room, they're not huge differences, but let me tell you, so much stuff is leaving. I know exactly what's there. And so even if you in this process, you're not getting these huge difference between your before and after, just knowing what you have and using what's there is a win in my book. Not sure where to start decluttering, my two favorite places are, one, that place that annoys you the mostest, or number two, that place that you use the most. So I'm talking kitchens, laundries, entryways, wherever is going to bring the most benefit for you is the perfect place to start. You guys can certainly declutter without pulling every single item out of a cupboard or a space, but there are some times where I think it is super helpful, and that is like every so often to get those lurking items that hide at the back of a cabinet or that you forgot you put in a box. One of the best ways is to pull all those items out, allow yourself to touch them to make those decisions, branch it off into two groups. I'm going to keep it or somewhere in my house, or I'm going to get rid of it, and then you'll know exactly which ones are going and which ones are staying, and then you can move on from there. Can you believe how much stuff is leaving this teeny tiny laundry? I am so happy with how it turned out, and because this is a high functioning space for me, having it clear and easy to find stuff is the top priority. I have been a minimalist for 8 years, and here I am surrounded by a huge pile of stuff to declutter, and this is just the ebb and flow of life. Over time, I have realized what the right amount of stuff is for us, and as I start to feel that numbers creep in, I know it's time for a good declutter. It's a great time to just go through your home and find anything that's no longer serving you and let it go.